In Yeda's park, Buddha sat under a grand Bodhi tree. His presence calm and radiant like morning sunlight. Disciples gathered around him, their hearts seeking peace and wisdom amid the turmoil of life's attachments and desires. Buddha gazed at a lotus flower blooming in the muddy pond nearby. Its beauty untouched by surrounding dirt, he raised his hand and pointed to the flower. Addressing the assembly with a voice both gentle and commanding, "Observe the lotus, my dear friends," he began, his words flowing like a serene river. "It thrives amidst the mud." The disciples leaned closer, their eyes fixed on the flower, absorbing the lesson hinted at but not yet revealed. "This flower," Buddha continued, "draws nourishment from the mud but remains unsoiled, unchained by the very source of its life." Ananda, ever devoted and curious, asked softly, "Master, how can love flourish without the weight of attachment pulling it down like a heavy anchor?" Buddha's eyes twinkled with understanding as he replied, "Attachment is not love, Ananda. Attachment desires possession. Love, true love, seeks freedom." The disciples nodded, though some seemed lost in thought, grappling with the subtle yet profound distinction Buddha had presented. Buddha spoke again, his tone steady yet filled with compassion. "Attachment binds the soul, chaining it to fear, desire, and pain." He gestured to a bird perched on a distant branch, singing a melody that danced effortlessly through the air. "Consider the bird," Buddha said. "Its song is a gift to the world. Would you cage it for your selfish joy?" A young monk cradled a bird with a broken wing, his face filled with concern. Buddha's gaze turned toward him. "Your care for this bird is noble," Buddha said, "but the highest love will set it free once it heals." The monk nodded, understanding Buddha's wisdom, though a tear slipped down his cheek at the thought of letting the bird go. "Clinging stems from fear," Buddha continued, addressing the gathering. "It is the ego's cry. This is mine, and I am incomplete without it." A disciple asked, "Master, does loving without attachment mean we must abandon our loved ones and retreat into solitude?" Buddha's smile was like the first light of dawn. "No, my child. Loving without attachment is the purest form of connection." He leaned forward slightly, emphasizing his next words. "It is the act of giving without demanding, of holding without constraining." The disciples exchanged glances, some nodding as they began to grasp the depth of the Buddha's teaching on love and freedom. Buddha continued, "The lotus teaches us this truth. It exists in harmony with its surroundings, rooted yet unbound." His words settled over the gathering like a gentle rain, nurturing seeds of understanding within the minds of his devoted followers. Buddha asked them, "What weighs upon your hearts? What do you cling to, mistaking it for love or fulfillment?" Ananda replied earnestly, "Master, I fear losing those I cherish most. How do I reconcile my love with inevitable impermanence?" Buddha's eyes softened as he responded, "Ananda, impermanence is the nature of all things. Clinging will not prevent loss but amplify sorrow." He reached down and picked up a fallen leaf, its golden hue glinting under the sun's warm embrace. "This leaf," Buddha said, "once clung to the branch but now dances freely in the wind. Do you see its peace?" Ananda nodded, though his expression carried the weight of his inner struggle to apply the lesson to his own attachments. Buddha placed the leaf in Ananda's hand, saying, "Let your love be like this leaf, beautiful, free, and unafraid of the wind." Another disciple, his voice trembling, asked, "Master, how do we practice this love without attachment in our daily lives?" Buddha gestured to the lotus once more, replying, "By cultivating mindfulness, compassion, and the wisdom to distinguish between clinging and true connection." He added, "Let each act of love be a reflection of your inner peace, not a search to complete yourself." The disciples bowed their heads, acknowledging the gravity of the teachings and their responsibility to embody them in their lives. The monk with the injured bird released a deep sigh, his hands trembling as he prepared to set it free. Buddha watched him silently, his presence a wellspring of encouragement. As the monk opened his hands and released the bird flapped its wings tentatively before soaring into the open sky, its song carrying a note of gratitude and liberation. Tears welled in the monk's eyes, but his face bore a serene expression, as though he had touched a profound truth. Buddha said, "In letting go, you have loved deeply. In releasing, you have embraced the essence of the lotus." The disciples sat quietly, their hearts resonating with the lesson, their minds contemplating the path to love without clinging. Buddha's gaze swept over them, his voice rising softly again. "True love nourishes but never imprisons. It is a blessing, not a chain." As the sun dipped below the horizon, its golden rays illuminating the grove, the disciples began their evening meditations. Each reflected on their own attachments, seeking the courage to love with the purity and freedom Buddha had so eloquently described. The grove fell silent except for the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of crickets. Welcoming the night, Buddha closed his eyes beneath the Bodhi tree, his form still and tranquil, a living embodiment of the teachings he had shared. The disciples knew they had witnessed more than words. They had seen a life lived in harmony with the truth of love. And so, under the vast canopy of stars, they vowed to walk the path Buddha had illuminated. One step at a time, their hearts carried the wisdom of the lotus, a guiding light on the journey toward freedom, compassion, and true connection. Another day, Buddha led his disciples to a tranquil lake surrounded by ancient trees, their reflections shimmering in the water. The disciples sat near the lake, their eyes drawn to the serene surface, mirroring the vast sky and its clouds. Buddha stood at the water's edge, his gaze steady and contemplative, inviting his disciples into a moment of reflection. "Life is like this lake," Buddha said, his voice gentle yet resonant, calm and clear until disturbed by restless actions. A stone lay nearby, smooth and round, and Buddha picked it up, holding it lightly in his weathered hand. "Observe what happens when I release this stone," Buddha continued, tossing it into the lake with a soft, deliberate motion. Ripples spread across the lake's surface, distorting the reflection of the sky into wavering, fragmented pieces. No longer serene. "This is the effect of clinging," Buddha explained, stepping back so his disciples could observe the interplay of stone and water. A disciple spoke up, "Master, if the lake represents life, does it mean we must avoid all disturbances and attachments?" Buddha smiled, his expression radiating kindness. "Disturbances will come, as they are part of life. It is your response that matters." He gestured toward the lake as the ripples began to settle, restoring the reflection to its former clarity and stillness. "Attachment prolongs the ripples," Buddha said, his tone steady, but understanding and letting go bring calm and clarity back. Ananda, ever eager to delve deeper, asked, "Master, how does one let go when the heart clings fiercely, refusing to release?" Buddha picked up another stone, this one smaller, and held it as he turned back toward his attentive disciples. "To let go, one must first understand the nature of clinging," Buddha said, tracing his fingers along the stone's surface. He continued, "What you cling to is often a reflection of your desires, not the true essence of what you love." A disciple asked, "Master, is it wrong to desire love, friendship, or connection? Are not such desires natural and inevitable?" Buddha's voice grew soft, like a comforting breeze. "Desire is natural, but when it grows into craving, it becomes a source of suffering." He knelt beside the lake and placed the smaller stone gently in the water, creating minimal ripples that faded quickly. Love should not disturb the lake of your mind, Buddha said. It should enhance it, like sunlight upon the water. The disciples pondered this, their thoughts like waves seeking to align with the stillness and wisdom of Buddha's teaching. Buddha stood and gestured for them to follow him along the lakeshore. Their feet brushing against the soft, damp earth, they approached a point where the water's surface reflected the trees and sky with vivid clarity. Untouched by disturbances, Buddha turned to his followers, his expression one of unwavering compassion. This clarity represents the state of a free mind, he continued. When you love without clinging, your mind remains clear, reflecting the truth of life without distortion or turmoil. A disciple asked, Master, how do we distinguish between healthy love and clinging attachment in our relationships with others? Buddha raised his hand toward the reflection of a tree, its branches dancing in the gentle breeze. Observe the tree. The disciples gazed at the tree, its roots deeply anchored in the earth, its branches reaching freely toward the open sky. This tree teaches us balance, Buddha said. Its roots hold it firmly, yet it does not confine the movement of its branches, he added. Love is like the branches, growing and reaching out, but it should never bind itself to the ground. A woman named Kisa asked, her voice filled with sorrow, Master, what if love brings pain, as when we lose those dearest to us? Buddha's eyes reflected her pain, and he placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Speaking with tender understanding, Kisa, he said softly, pain is part of life, but clinging turns it into suffering. Love, even in loss, can be freeing. He gestured toward the lake once more, its surface now shimmering with the golden hues of the setting sun. Even when the sun sets, the lake holds its beauty, Buddha said. So, too, can your love shine without clinging? The disciples continued to walk along the lakeshore, absorbing the lesson of the calm lake and the teachings of their master. A young monk approached Buddha and asked, Master, how do we maintain clarity when emotions stir the waters of our minds? Buddha paused, looking at the monk with a serene gaze. Through mindfulness, my child, be present, and let the ripples fade naturally. He continued, do not fight the ripples or cling to them. Observe them with compassion, and they will dissolve on their own. The disciples nodded, their understanding deepening as they contemplated how to apply the practice of mindfulness in their daily lives. Buddha stopped at a spot where the lake's edge met a patch of soft grass. Inviting his followers to rest and meditate, he spoke, his voice blending with the gentle rustle of leaves. Meditation is the path to stillness, the path to clarity. The disciples closed their eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the weight of their attachments lifting like mist before the morning sun. As the disciples meditated, a bird flew across the lake, its wings casting fleeting shadows upon the water's tranquil surface. Buddha observed the bird, his expression peaceful. Before speaking again, even shadows are temporary. They pass, leaving no lasting mark. He continued, do not fear the shadows of doubt or pain. They, too, shall pass. If your mind remains like the lake. The disciples opened their eyes, their faces illuminated with newfound understanding, the light of Buddha's wisdom guiding their paths. Buddha concluded, let your love reflect the clarity of the lake and the balance of the tree. This is true freedom. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the disciples rose, their hearts lighter, their minds more at peace with life's ebb and flow. They bowed deeply to Buddha, their gratitude immeasurable. Before dispersing to carry the teachings into their lives and beyond, the lake lay silent once more, a testament to the stillness and clarity that Buddha's presence had bestowed upon it. And so, under the watchful gaze of the stars, Buddha's teachings remained, an eternal reflection of love without clinging. Another day, Buddha gathered his disciples under a sky painted with hues of gold, the evening light calming their restless minds. The grove radiated tranquility, the rustling leaves harmonizing with the soft murmur of the nearby stream winding gently through. Buddha stood near the flowing stream, his presence serene and steadfast, grounding his disciples in the wisdom about to unfold. The stream carries its water without clinging, Buddha began, his voice resonating, and gives freely, nourishing all that lies in its path. He picked up a handful of water, observing as it slipped through his fingers, leaving no trace of resistance or possession. This is the nature of true love, Buddha said, turning to his disciples, offering without expectation, holding without constraining or grasping. A disciple asked, "Master, what if love is met with rejection or indifference? Does the pain mean love should be abandoned?" Buddha gazed at the disciple, his eyes kind and unclouded, before responding with words that carried profound solace. "Pain is natural, my child, but love without clinging transcends rejection, remaining pure in its intent and unwavering in compassion." Another disciple, Sujata, stepped forward, her voice trembling with grief as she shared her struggle and sought Buddha's guidance. "Master," Sujata began, "I loved my son deeply, but he has left home, and my heart aches with unbearable longing." Buddha listened intently, his silence reflecting compassion, before he picked up a golden leaf floating serenely in the nearby stream. He handed the leaf to Sujata, speaking gently, "This leaf was once bound to its tree but now drifts freely and peacefully." Sujata stared at the leaf, tears streaming down her face, as Buddha continued, his words anchoring her in newfound understanding. "Your son, like the leaf, must follow his own path," Buddha said. "Offer him love but release him from your grasp." Sujata wept silently, her heart embracing the wisdom, her grief lightened by the truth revealed through Buddha's gentle teaching. A young monk asked, "Master, how do we learn to release those we love when our hearts ache with their absence?" Buddha stepped closer to the stream, pointing to the water flowing effortlessly toward the vast ocean, never hindered by barriers. "Love is like this stream," Buddha explained. "It flows freely, unburdened by clinging, eventually merging with the infinite depths of existence." He added, "To love without clinging is to trust the flow of life, accepting both presence and absence as part of its course." The disciples sat near the stream, their eyes fixed on its flowing current, seeking to understand the harmony and freedom it embodied. Buddha asked them, "What burdens your hearts? What chains keep you from loving freely with the purity of this flowing stream?" Ananda replied earnestly, "Master, I fear losing those I cherish most. How can love endure when impermanence threatens its very existence?" Buddha's gaze softened, his reply imbued with warmth and clarity that resonated deeply in the hearts of his gathered followers. "Ananda," Buddha began, "impermanence is not to be feared, but embraced, for it is the essence of life and love itself." He gestured to the stream again, noting how it carried fallen leaves toward unknown destinations, unhindered by attachments or fear. The stream carries its waters forward, never clinging to its beginnings or resisting its destination, Buddha said. "This is true freedom." The disciples nodded, though their expressions carried the weight of their own attachments and the challenge of releasing them. Buddha continued, "True love nourishes the soul but never binds it. It seeks neither possession nor permanence but flows with acceptance." A disciple asked, "Master, does loving without clinging mean we should avoid deep connections and friendships that might later bring pain?" Buddha's smile radiated kindness as he replied, "No, my child, deep connections are valuable, but let them be rooted in freedom and mutual growth." He added, "Love is not diminished by its impermanence. Its beauty lies in its ability to exist fully without chains or constraints." the disciples exchanged glances, pondering how to embrace love in their lives without succumbing to the weight of attachment. Buddha raised his hand and pointed to the setting sun, its golden rays illuminating the grove with warmth and serenity. Even the sun, mighty and radiant, sets each day without clinging to its light, Buddha said. It rises anew, ever free. Sujata, now calmer, asked, Master, does releasing attachment mean we cease to care deeply, surrendering our emotions to apathy or indifference? Buddha's eyes reflected her concern, and he replied gently, No, Sujata, loving freely is not indifference. It is caring deeply without possession. He continued. It is the act of holding space for another's growth, offering compassion without attempting to control their journey. Sujata nodded, her heart resonating with the clarity Buddha had provided. Her grief transformed into a deeper understanding of love's essence. The young monk spoke again. Master, how do we practice this love daily when attachments naturally arise within our hearts and minds? Buddha smiled, his expression serene, before responding with wisdom that illuminated the path to practicing love without clinging. By cultivating mindfulness, my child, Buddha said, recognize attachments as they arise. Then gently let them go, trusting life's natural flow. He added, let love be like the stream's current, flowing toward freedom while nourishing all it touches without seeking to possess. The grove fell silent, the disciples absorbing the teachings, their hearts stirred by the profound simplicity and depth of Buddha's words. Buddha spoke again, his voice blending with the murmurs of the stream and the rustling leaves swayed by the evening breeze. Love, at its purest, is free like the wind, boundless and generous, giving without clinging, enriching without demanding, Buddha said. The disciples bowed deeply, their gratitude immeasurable, before dispersing to carry the teachings into their lives and beyond. The grove remained quiet, a testament to the clarity and freedom bestowed upon it by the timeless wisdom of Buddha's teachings. As darkness enveloped the world, Buddha sat beneath the ancient Bodhi tree, his presence embodying the profound peace of his wisdom. The stars watched over the grove, illuminating the path ahead, guiding the disciples toward loving freely, compassionately, and without clinging. How do I maintain strength amid prolonged adversities persistently? The Buddha said, strength arises by connecting within. Seek refuge in mindfulness, embracing impermanence, and drawing energy from compassion shared with others. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.